Hello, children! Today, I will tell you a tale of Violetta Cristina Vapore, the leader of the cult of Capre and the owner of this establishment. For two demons, creating a child was not hard. But for a succubus to be with another, it was unheard of to conceive without human intervention. But one day, two loving succubi were blessed with offspring. She was considered to some a miracle, and to some an unholy abomination. So the couple decided to change their appearances in order to blend in. They took their beloved newborn to a house on the hill near a small town where demons and humans coexisted. Once grown, their daughter begged to be let out of the house to see human society, to play with humans and demons of her age. Unfortunately, she was unable to keep her form, humans enraged and slaughtering every demon in sight. With her parents nowhere to be found, Violetta was the last demon survivor of the village. And just as all tragic stories, she became evil for some reason. Violetta spent her days training herself with any weapon she could find, feeding on livestock from the farms around her. Even going as far to sneak into dreams and feast on the life force of unsuspecting humans to satiate her never-ending hunger. Once she grew, to appease her boredom, Violetta spent her days serving any and all kings and religious factions. She would take pride in giving the humans what they would want, before taking it all away from them. Those who she once knelt to crawled to her begging for their lives, yet she grew bored with humans. Violetta would later wander the world, slaying dragons with nothing more than bullets. Goddesses, tearing them down by shattering their intellect with her own. Mythical creatures who... What even is this? Is this alright for children? Some creatures weren't even worth destroying. Okay, she's literally laying on her. The crown princess of the moon tried to avenge the others, yet she too succumbed to Violetta's bloodlust. Those who told her tale described her as a beautiful Amazonian woman, 8 foot in height, a sign of grace and virtue. Cultists took her image to worship her as a god of war, called upon to kill even her own kin. She had no remorse to any of her actions or words. And in the end, the author lets you decide to choose what you think she might be. Oh my!
Nice.
So, we clearly didn't die.
She shot me.
I looked pretty good.
Verity looks like a moth.
I am not a moth.
Moth gaming, lol.
The story is off by a lot. We are alive and well, for the most part.
She shot me?
Well then. Fine. True story it is. But all of you must participate. You must recount how each of you met her.
Okay.
So back in the day, when Mom was a scientist, you remember that? Yeah, we all remember that? When she was a scientist and she was experimenting on eggs, like you do, I was born from her toxic snots. As she poured them upon my egg, I was born and became the chaotic being that I am today. Look how cute I am, though. I got a couple teeth in my mouth, and then eyes in my mouth, and mouths in my mouth. Look, I'm adorable. That's that green stuff. That's the rabies. That's gotta be the rabies. Why'd you stop being a scientist?
God, I was never a scientist.
So when I met Mommy V, I was escaping a lab facility with my brother and sister, although we ended up getting separated at some point. I ran into this forest, and when I came across her, I thought she was this big, giant, scary lady, and she wanted to eat me. I was like, I don't know, maybe she's friendly, because I noticed she also has horns and pointy ears like I did. And I thought maybe she was another dragon. So in a way, I consider her my savior, and noticed she's really not a bad person after all. She seemed a little menacing at first, but once you get to know her, she's actually really sweet. That's pretty much how I met V, and now to this day, we're all living together. It's pretty great.
Hey guys, did you know? Before she was Mama V, she was actually my teacher. That's right, Moonlight actually hired her to be my sword teacher. And let me tell you, she got me big and strong. I learned all the ways of the sword through Mama V. I mean, I did have to call her Miss V for a really long time, but one day when we were fighting, I looked up at her and I couldn't help but say Mommy. And ever since, it kinda just stuck around. But anyways, thanks to Mama V, I got all big and strong and now I can best her in any sort of sword fight.
You see, as time passes, people seem to fall into disbelief of gods and goddesses. They start to think that they're nothing more than just merely stories of the past. Those who still held some belief, however, created shrines, and while most of them, it was jewelry or coins that were offered, there was something more specific that my heart needed. There were so many different stories about me, but one detail always seemed to be forgotten. My fascination of what they call sakura trees. Once those petals were placed upon the shrine, I had been reawoken by V, but only as a mere child. I needed a home. I needed to be cared for. I needed V. My siblings were a little odd, but I wouldn't give them up for the world.
Mom, I found this raccoon in the woods and he was like, and I was like, yeah, sure, why not? Come on home with us. So can we keep him? I already told him yes.
Sup, I'm Nemu.
It seems I'm going to have to be the one to tell the story once more. Yes, the original part of the story was correct. Violetta was born to 2 succubi. They hid their appearance due to the negativity surrounding all succubi, so the tale was still correct in this aspect as well. She was let out of the house only to screw things up by showing her true form. Violetta ended up hiding away, eating the remains of rotting animals she chanced upon, most of the time goats. They were rather tasty and easy to find in the area. Then one day, an organization of humans took her in, fed her and clothed her, and placed her with many other children much like herself. This organization was to train young demon women to fight against their own kind in the Great Cryptid War. The war was a standoff between man and demon. Of course, the humans won, but only because they had the group of women at their side. Over her years of service and being taken in by the organization, Violetta grew to become a confident young woman, a shadow of her former self. As the leader of the group of the Demon Eradication Squad, also known as the DES, she fought through countless wars until the humans turned against them, her friends and colleagues dying one by one in front of her. Violetta took who was remaining in her squad. They found an old orphanage and bought it. Her remaining friends took up restoring the building into a livable house, stocked it with supplies as best they could, and bid her farewell. No one has seen them since, though there are rumors of apparitions appearing outside of the windows. Violetta decided to take on a form that seemed a little less intimidating. Despite her efforts, she knew that her imperfections would indeed scare some children, so she created a doll, Vesperia, the lore keeper. Violetta would don all black attire, wandering the gravesites looking for any children in need of help. She would take them back to the orphanage and take care of them the best she could. From time to time, she would even take on an odd job to earn money for supplies, such as training a moon princess. Well, the Moon Man didn't tell me my pupil would be so cute and weak. Mommy, sorry, Mommy. It's okay. Don't get discouraged. If you are a good girl and you practice your lessons, I might reward you. Then there were some unusual appearances at her door from time to time. A goddess who was forgotten, a dragon princess who was experimented on, and an egg. She wasn't quite sure what to do with all the children she had, let alone the small group of cryptids. So, as tired as she was, she did what she could to keep them in line, not even having the time to dress herself. As unruly as they were, talent was one thing that they did not lack.
Look at this ugly Drew.
Ayo, did you just call me ugly?
Who the f is that?
I can't see it. Let me see
I
it.
wonder if I still have any spare lizards left.
She spent tireless hours working in her basement, learning streaming programs, learning how to deal with models, talking to others about how they handle their situations, just in order to teach them. She taught them streaming programs, how to use a webcam, and, well, I mean, she tried to teach them. In a way, she was blessed to become, in their eyes, Mama V. Oh my god, you guys are gonna be the death of me.
Mom! Wake up!
Nice leg.